Hello everyone. Today we're going to go over the layers panel in Adobe Illustrator. So you can locate the layers panel by default on the far right of your workspace. By default, every new document will contain one layer, and each object you create is listed under that layer. So as you can see here, I've got the Adobe Illustrator logo group, a linked file, and my text layers. This kind of differs from Photoshop's layer system, but in kind of Photoshop speak, when you create a new layer, it automatically puts it in group 1. So, and then as you add files, it'll all add it to the group 1 until you create a new layer or a new group. So kind of going over the layers panel, I do have a zoomed in version of the layers panel, so you don't have to kind of squint and look at the tiny layers panel over here to the right. And I have a little selector circle. So the first thing that we're going to go over in the layers panel is the visibility column, which is right here with the little eyeballs. It's very similar to Photoshop's. So the visibility column indicates whether an item in the layers are visible, so the eyeball is shown, or is hidden, which is a blank space. So I'm going to go over here to the active layers panel for this document and turn off the selector circle. So it does kind of toggle, as you can see, the visibility. Next, we're going to go to the edit column or the lock column, which is the next space over. As you can see here on the active layers panel, I do have a little lock next to layer 1. So when the lock is there, you cannot edit that layer, you can't move it. So as you can see, I can't do anything with that layer 1, which is the screenshot. But if I unlock it, I will then be able to select it and move it. So I'm going to go back and toggle and lock it again so I don't accidentally move it during this demo. Next, we're going to talk about the selection column. So this indicates whether an item is selected. So the color box appears when an item is selected. So when it turns blue, you know that that layer is selected. Next, if you kind of come over all the way over here to the end, you'll also see it is the target column, which indicates items that are targeted for application of effects, edit attributes, and the appearance panel. So when the target button appears, it's a double ring icon. As you can see, I am selected here on my active layers panel. So it is got the double circle. So when it is targeted, a single ring icon appears when it's not targeted. So just so you can see the one right below it, it's not targeted. And none of these here on my example are targeted. Next, we're going to go over how to create a layer and all of these options down here at the bottom of the layers panel. So as you can imagine, the delete option when you select a layer is the little trash can. So that's very simple, and similar to Photoshop, the create a new layer icon does look like the sheet of paper with the corner folded. But something that is new is creating a new sub-layer. So that actually creates a new layer within your layer. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but it creates a new layer within your group, as you can see I just did here on the active. If I click a new layer, if I click add a new layer, it'll add a new layer or a new group. Next, we have the make or release a clipping mask, which is a little bit more advanced. And the next option, as you can kind of imagine, it's the magnifying glass, is the locate an object. And last, we have the collect for export. So this is when you kind of go for exporting, and there's a whole bunch of different exporting options for Illustrator that you can dive deep into beyond this course. So again, to create a new layer in the layers panel, you can click the name of the layer above which you want to add the new layer. So it's very similar to Photoshop, so if I want to add a new layer on top of layer 2, I would just select layer 2 and then click the new layer icon. And then next, if you want to actually rename a layer, that I should mention, is you just double click the layer name, and then this is where you can type in your name for your layer. Selection. I should call it selection circle. So that is kind of a really brief overview of the layers panel in Illustrator. Thanks for watching.